There are few things in life that truly fluster Spider-Man. Criminals with ray guns, sure. Alien invasions, definitely. But on an unusually bright Saturday morning above 48th Street, it was indeed the usual threats that had caught New York City's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man off guard. It was a balloon. More specifically, a bright red helium balloon. The kind that bobs deliberately up and away from the city's chaos, its golden string trailing like a dare in the sunlight. It hovered at the edge of Spider-Man's vision as he swung, a smudge of color against the blue sky. Hurrying toward Midtown, intent on checking out an alarm, he almost let it drift by unnoticed. Almost, he paused atop a traffic light. Hands on his hips, watching it float just out of reach above the bustling street. Normally, this wasn't his problem. He was about to swing away to resume the balancing act of hero and average guy. When out of the corner of his eye, he spotted a woman standing on the sidewalk, head tilted back. She was dressed in business casual, coffee in hand, and the line of worry written across her face pulled at Peter's sense of responsibility. Taking a deep, resigned breath, Spider-Man flicked his wrist, shooting a silvery web toward the balloon. The strand sailed through the air, catching the ribbon in a clean, practiced hit. The balloon jerked, bobbing, and began to drift downward, but something in the wind shifted. The balloon dipped suddenly, swerving away from the expected path. Spider-Man, still balanced precariously on the traffic light, tugged at the web with a little more force. The balloon didn't cooperate. He yanked again. The web stuck, but the rush of air sent the balloon swinging madly, rope dancing through the sky. And then fate, or perhaps just a bit of Parker luck, intervened. The traffic light beneath his feet started to sway. The businesswoman's eyebrow arched. Determined to keep things under control, Spider-Man leaped forward, launching himself past the crowd with acrobatic grace. He reeled in the balloon, but as it rebounded, the web tangled itself around his own wrist. He tried to twist free, but another gust blew the balloon sharply to the left. The web wrapped around his opposite arm. By now, Spider-Man was midair, dangling just enough for the passing traffic to notice. "Oh, come on," he muttered. He could hear the telltale click of someone's phone camera from below. Momentum was not his friend. The balloon now seemed to possess a mind of its own. Tugging stubbornly skyward, both arms pinned by sticky webbing, Spider-Man spun helplessly. Twisting above the yellow cabs and honking busiza, bright red balloon carrying the city's greatest superhero on a not-so-dignified joyride. From a second-floor window, a pair of construction workers paused mid-lunch. One nudged the other, squinting into the sunlight. "Is that ... Spider-Man?" one asked, folding his sandwich with deliberate care. The other grinned. "Yup. Looks like he's wrestling a balloon." Of course, Spider-Man heard every word. In between spins, he managed a wave, trying to play it cool. "Nothing to see here, fellas. Friendly neighborhood balloon chase, business as usual." The balloon, thoroughly unfazed by Spider-Man's embarrassment, sailed higher, carrying him off-kilter over the intersection. He tried every trick in the book, flexing, wriggling, attempting to sever the web with his thumb, but his own glue-like invention clung stubbornly. In moments like these, Peter always wondered if he should have invested in a biodegradable, non-self-tangling formula. Eventually, his arc swept him directly into the branch of a tall sycamore tree in Bryant Park. There was a sharp crack, an explosion of startled pigeons, and then all movement stopped. The balloon snagged on a branch, swaying gently as Spider-Man hung awkwardly below, cocooned in shining web. He dangled there for a bit upside down, one knee bent, both arms stuck over his head. An older man in a jogging suit jogged past, pausing to stare. "You all right, Spider-Man?" he called up. Just, enjoying the view," Spider-Man replied, voice muffled by a string of web stuck to his mask. Catching some fresh air. Being one with the branches. Above, the balloon finally popped with a mellow bang, scattering a tiny bit of confetti across the tree's leaves. The businesswoman, now well down the block, craned her neck just long enough to give a grateful thumbs up. Spider-Man managed to extricate himself, dropping lightly to the grass. Sticky with his own web fluid and pride a little bruised, he dusted himself off and glanced around. A small handful of adults, summoned by rumor more than sight, were already retrieving photos on their phones. He walked away sheepishly. resolving to never again underestimate the chaos a simple balloon could cause, even for a superhero. That afternoon, as he swung home above the city, Peter Parker thought about the day. Fighting bad guys with 6 mechanical arms somehow seemed easier than wrestling a rogue balloon. But for all the missteps, he couldn't help but laugh. Even superpowers have their limits, and sometimes New York just needs to be reminded that behind every mask, there's a perfectly human mess. High above Manhattan, Spider-Man swore that next time he saw a balloon on the loose, he'd leave it to the professionals. Maybe the fire department didn't get stuck quite so often in their own web,